Welcome back. Well, there's a growing concern around sexual activity and youth and how the pandemic, in fact, has put them in more vulnerable situations. This is just one aspect of a report by Let's Stop AIDS on Canadian youth. Shamin Mohamed Jr. joins me now. Shamin's the founder and president of Let's Stop AIDS. Shamin, thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Thank you, Angie, for having me.
This is such an important and critical conversation, of course, when we're looking at youth. Based on the findings of the report and what you've been seeing in the research here, what have you found? What are you seeing when it comes to sexual activity among Canadian youth?
So at Let's Stop AIDS, we've been looking at youth sexual activity for the last 18 years. Our Let's Stop AIDS Sex Lives report found that Canadian youth have become more sexually adventurous since the pandemic. Our survey has also revealed in the last 3 months, the number of people who are not using condoms have doubled compared to pre-pandemic. 28% of those youth were diagnosed with STIs, weren't seeking treatment.
Right.
And in terms of HIV prevention, 26% of youth have knowledge of PrEP, which is a preventive measure for HIV, and only 11% know what U equals U is, which is undetectable equals untransmittable.
Wow, those numbers. Take me back to the pandemic and how that has now made things more concerning. And I think it kind of comes into the sort of the online aspect of it as well.
Yeah, so the pandemic has impacted youth behaviors in a number of ways. Public spaces were closed, and many first dates were happening at home. 34% of 34% of youth on online dating apps were having sex on first dates, increased due to compared to pre-pandemic. Youth were sexually adventurous even during lockdowns. During lockdowns, 52% of youth continue to have sex with partners from different households. One explanation of that is polyamorous dynamics among youth.
So why are we seeing that? And what is the concern as we're moving forward if these are now the sexual practices of youth, of what you're tracking right now? Because it can lead to, other concerns, health concerns down the road. One always needs to be careful.
Yeah, well, many had to redefine intimacy virtually, having longer, deeper conversations, engaging on online apps compared to before, where it was more in person. Now it was more using phone and cybersex. 43% of youth on online dating apps reported sending more nudes during lockdowns. What this study showed us that nudes has become a normal part of online dating, and that young people should be aware of privacy issues and unknown consequences of these images ending up in the wrong hands.
Really quickly, Shamin, what's the advice then? The advice to these young people who are now becoming sexually active, but also to parents as well, what they should be aware of.
Sure. What Let's Stop AIDS is most concerned about is that youth have been the most overlooked demographic during this pandemic. Youth feel the pandemic has stolen their time and experiences. The sexual exploration as predefined young adulthood didn't happen for many of these young Canadians, which will have negative side effects. 28% of young youth diagnosed with STIs didn't get treatment. We need to make testings with zero question testings.
Right.
We need to make condoms affordable. We need to be able to make sure that these resources are easily accessible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I guess, that awareness and that conversation right from the get-go is so critical and important. There's no shame. It's an important conversation to have. Shamin, it's great to have you on this. Shamin Mohamed Jr. is the founder and president of Let's Stop AIDS. We'll speak again soon, Shamin. Thank you for this.
Thank you so much for having me, Angie. I really appreciate it. And thank you for supporting a CTV.
You're welcome.